So the next thing that we need to talk about is what exact shapes, what orbitals are in what energy levels. And it's actually pretty interesting to kind of see how Bohr's model and Schrodinger's model, they're not so different. It's just that Schrodinger adds a little bit more detail into Bohr's model of the atom. So again, I'm going to share with you my screen. There we go. So Bohr's model of the atom, again, starts off with the protons and neutrons in the center, and then we have a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3, and a level 4. And I'll even write this on here. This is level 1, level 2, and level 3. So you can see that level 1 is super duper tiny. Now, there shouldn't be a lot of room on the inside of this level to hold electrons. So we know that according to Bohr, level 1 should only hold 2 electrons. Now, in Schrodinger's model, you have to remember that there are shapes on the inside of this level. So we don't need very many shapes to describe where 2 electrons can live on the inside of level 1. So Schrodinger starts to find these orbitals on the inside of the energy levels. So Schrodinger finds that in level 1, which requires 2 electrons, level 1 is only made up of one S shape. Now remember that the S shape is a spherical shape, and this is a place where 2 electrons can live. So in the S shape, again, 2 electrons can live there, and it makes sense. That actually matches up with what Bohr predicts. So Bohr says you're limited to 2 electrons, but doesn't give any details. Schrodinger says, I agree, 2 electrons, and they're spinning in this kind of shape. So if you took a close look at level 1, instead of this 2D ring, you'd actually see this 3D sphere, which is actually kind of cool. Okay, well, according to Bohr, we can go even a little bit further. In level 2, he says there are 8 electrons. And Schrodinger doesn't disagree. He just says that there's a little bit more organization on the inside of this. So he says that in level 2, you're going to have an S shape again. Okay, that's great, but that only takes care of 2 electrons. I need more than that. Now, we're only allowed to have one shape, and then we have to use another shape. So the next one to move on to is also P. Now the P shapes, remember that there are 3 of them that we can pull from. So the second level can also include one of these P shapes and one of these P shapes. And again, you have to use your imagination here. This one, which would be going in and out of the plane of the board. So it would be like sticking straight up and sticking straight down into my board. But take a look at this now. 2 electrons here, 2 electrons here, 2 electrons here, 2 electrons here. That gets you to a total of 8. So the second energy level can hold both the S and the P shapes. There's a total of 2 in the S and 6 in the P for a total of 8 electrons. It just doesn't disagree. So again, there are 6 in this P shape, 2 in the S shape, 2 per one of these shapes. Only one more here, and again, this one gets a little bit complex. Level 3. Level 3, Bohr predicts that you can actually hold 18 electrons. So we're going to try our best to try and figure this one out. So Schrodinger doesn't disagree. He starts with the simplest shapes first, because the electrons tend to like to be in the simplest, we call them low energy states first. So he starts off with S. Remember, that takes care of 2, because 2 can live right here. Then we have to break into the P. P is the next most simple. So we'll add in one of these P's and one of these P's and one of these P's. Again, use your imagination on that last one. That takes care of 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm not at 18 yet. I'm going to have to break into the next shape, the D shape. Here is that D shape one more time. Again, these ones look crazy, but remember that there are 5 of them. So 2 electrons can live here, 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 and 2 electrons can live here. So in this D system, in each one of these D shapes, we hold 2. All told in D, there's 10. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's a total of 18 electrons in level 3. So in summary, again, not every shape is found in any energy level. Only certain levels have enough room for some of the shapes. Let me erase this, and we're going to kind of do, like I said, a little summary here. So in level 1, you can only have S. In level 2, you can have S and P. And then in level 3, you can have S and P and D. To be clear, the S-cloud system, there's only one shape, and S can only hold 2 electrons. In the P-cloud shape, there are 1, 2, 3 different shapes. Again, use your imagination on this one. This one holds 2, this one holds 2, and this one holds 2, for a total of 6. So the whole P system, all 3 of these P shapes together, can hold 6 electrons. Then we'll have the last one, the crazy D shape. So this is the D shape. Now again, in each one of these can hold 2. So that's 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2, for a total of 10. So S holds 2, P holds 6, D holds 10. Energy level 1 only has S. Energy level 2 has S and P. Energy level 3 has S and P and D.